Today we're looking at the ADJ Fog Fury Faze. Now it's Faze, not Haze, because this is a fogger. Now we'll show you why the Faze kind of fits a little bit later, where it's kind of going from a fogger to a hazer. But I wanted to run through a few things with this and show you this in action, because this is pretty cool. I've seen this at a few shows and I've been really kind of excited to get my hands on one. And of course we can show you one now. Out of the box, of course, you come with your power cable. It has a remote control. The remote control allows you to select the duration or the interval kind of the gap between the duration of how long it's on and what it does. You've got your continuous on, your manual, and you've got a timer with that. You've got your nice tank. I really like the tank, the removable tanks of these. For a lot of us, when we're doing foggers these days, we're mobile DJs, you fill the tank, you put the things in, do that, and then when you're done dealing with it, you pull this out and you can pour it back into a jug. Now, some people are going to say that you shouldn't be doing that because you're going to contaminate the rest of the fogger fluid. They are exactly right. There's no question about it. That will contaminate fogger fluid. It could cause problems down the road. But most of us, I mean, let's be real, we're fairly frugal when it comes to this. We don't want to have this slopping out. We don't want to have the mess. That's what we do. Be very careful. If you get some visible contaminants in your fog juice right here, dump it, get rid of it, flush this out with distilled water, let it dry so it's completely dry before you put any fog fluid back in here. But take care of your foggers and they'll last quite a long time. You abuse them, misuse them, let junk get in there, I don't care which one it is, it's not going to last very long. Continuing on, a couple of things I want to show you with this is that it's got kind of a cool little front here on this. It has an adjustable little chute, I'll call it, for lack of a better way to describe it. You can adjust that down and up, and you can't really see it, but down in here is kind of a little sponge area, because what will happen with any fogger is when you run it for a while, it will have a little bit of some drops of the fog fluid that aren't completely burned. I've seen this with cheaper foggers. I've seen this with very expensive foggers. You're going to have some dripping. What's really kind of cool is that this little tray will funnel anything back in. It's also used to direct the fog haze where you want it to go, the phase where you want it to go. And that little sponge at the bottom will then collect all that extra dripping that might be falling. So that way it's not going to be something that's going to slop all over and make a really big mess of any case you'd put this in or any vehicle that you would haul this in. The Fog Fury Faze is a 700 watt fogger. A lot of us have used foggers ranging from smaller to bigger. 700 is kind of a nice mid-range. You can plug two of them in if you need to on a circuit without having a problem with popping breakers generally, most of the time. And yet it can give you a lot of fog when you need it. This also has something called the ETS, electronic thermal sensing. What that will do is that will tell you if you're using this and it runs out of juice, it will basically shut itself down. So you're not going to have this running out of juice and then continuing to heat and burn itself up, which is an incredibly important feature to have on a fogger. But when you're dealing with foggers, you want something that will shut down when it's empty instead of burning itself up. And there's a lot of additional technology built into this for protection of the unit. Because again, running the tank low, it gets too hot, different things can happen with these things. If you're not getting enough airflow, what have you. It's designed to protect itself and be there when you need it the next time. 5-minute warm up on this. We need to fill this up, plug it in, and let's take a look at what it can do. I'm just about to fill the Fog Fury Faze here from ADJ, but before I did that, I just plugged the remote in, and I'm going to plug the power in. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see the back. My tank is completely empty. We plug it in. It basically kicks in, and now it's telling me that there's a low liquid level. It's not detecting any liquid. Remotes, everything's lit up, and it's basically flashing telling me something's wrong. Because I don't have any juice in it. We've got to fill it up. Now it might be a little tough to see. We just filled this about half full. And you can kind of maybe see that this is red. Right now the tank is glowing red because it's telling us that the unit is warming up. Once, after about the 5-minute warm-up period, once it's warm, this should turn green and we're ready to go. This is going to be so awesome. And there we go. The Fog Fury Faze is warmed up. And by my numbers, it doesn't look like it took that long. So the Fog Fury Faze is up and running. It's all warmed up. The tank is green, if you can see the green tank. And we have our control. We can go manual, and we can go and basically give it a blast. Or we can go to some form of continuous, or we can do the timer, whatever we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the timer. It's been running for about 30 seconds of off and on here, and we're going to push that timer. This is not hot by any means, it's coming into the phase. So we could actually adjust this down, or if we needed to go more of a vertical, you can kind of see that in the video. There we go. The room that we are phasing, because this is a lot more air moving with this one than a typical fogger. A fogger basically is just that blast. This has a fan that is sucking air from somewhere, but it's really putting out a really kind of a more even fog rather than that little burst down. As far as this putting out kind of about a 4-inch wide beam of fog, for lack of a better way to describe it. We're on continuous on the controller. I can shut that off and that will stop it, but I want it to keep going because this room is about a 20 by 20 room that we're in right now in the studio, and I want to see what it can do if we let it run for about another 30 seconds. This is going to be pretty awesome. I only filled the tank about half full, and then initially it was showing that it was the tank was still kind of low, but now that it's running, the low liquid light went out. And again, the tank is a little over half full of the fluid that I chose to use with it today. When you're using fogger fluid, this is a spot you don't want to chance. You want to go get some really quality fogger fluid. Again, because of contaminant problems, because of gumming the machine up, all those different possibilities can happen with foggers. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your fogger again, so it'll be there. Because these things, you only use them probably half a dozen times a year, but you want to make sure when you're using them, they're ready to go. Well, right now, I can't see across the room that way. I can still see across the room on this side yet, but I can't see there. Maybe it's getting a little tough to see on your side, if you can see me. But I want to go, yep, I'll go down to another. I want to go just a little bit longer and see what this can do. Again, it's on continuous, and it hasn't shut off yet. And I think it's been running probably for about 2 minutes now, continuous or on-off and then continuous here. And it's getting kind of thick in here. There are no particle detectors, smoke detection in our office, so if it starts on fire, that's a bad thing for us, but for this application, it's a good thing, because if I wouldn't have that capability, you wouldn't be, the test should be done, because we'd be running out, because everything would be going beep, 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 and it would be a real mess. So we're about 2 minutes in, roughly, on continuous, and you can see in a 20 by 20 room what it's doing. Yeah, we're getting a lot. I can't see. Can't see to that part of it. I can still see behind me, of course. The camera's getting a little fuzzy over there. We'll go just another 30 seconds, and we're going to see what it looks like in here. It's really getting kind of thick. Our air ventilation system in here is a pretty good air ventilation system, but I did shut it off for this test because I thought, well, what the heck. Okay, so we've got about 2.5 minutes maybe of phase fog in the air from the ADJ Fog Fury Faze. It's kind of, it's starting to clear up a little bit now as it's moving around the room and the circulation system is starting to catch it and move it with us. But a very impressive little unit. I love the idea that it can keep track of the liquids and it can protect itself and do its thing. It's not heating; it's still good to go. I mean, I can go manual and we can keep going. And I think this would go right through the tank. I love that it looks like a real tool. It's not a kid's toy. It's not one of the small things that we used to have when we first started getting foggers. It's a real tool. It looks good. It's clean. Again, the tank, you can pull this tank out and we can empty it when we want to, if we need to. Just a really kind of a great design with the Fog Fury Faze from ADJ. I'll put a link in the description below after this clears up so I can see to get to the computer and get this over to you. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News.